Good morning and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early AF at 4:45 a.m. and goes just about 5. We are a show, today's show, we're talking about doing good and productivity. What is the connection between doing good and productivity? If you are new to the show, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com to see about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. We also offer a series of really interesting workshops and executive coaching around this particular idea. You can go to productivethroughjoy.com. As you, if you are new to the show, I should probably say a few words about myself. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. I'm the author of the New York Times bestseller Raising Fences, which was a Today Show Book of the Month pick. That book's film rights were optioned by the actor Will Smith, whose people called My People, and I eventually agreed to write the screenplay for that particular project. I'm also the author of the acclaimed historical novel Americus, which is set 13 miles from Ferguson, where, of course, Michael Brown was murdered in the conflagration which uh, ensued initially there as well. That book interrogates the intersection of race and violence in America in a very, very powerful way through the prism of an African American family circa uh, the 1917, the infamous 1917 race riot is the really interesting framework for that particular book. I'm currently on the book tour for that project. Look for me coming to a town near you, most likely. I'm back in LA now. I'll be at the great independent bookstore, the Last Bookstore, as it's called, in downtown LA on October the 4th and October the 9th. I'll be at Pasadena City College as part of their major lecture series. So look for me in those locations. All right. In the morning show, we like to dive into we air each weekday morning at 4:45 a.m. and then 4:45 p.m. And the 4:45 p.m. show is on Facebook Live. Um, in the morning show, we like to tap into and touch into the idea of framing your day before your day has a chance to frame you. Um, what does that mean? So we will speak about how at times we'll wake up with trouble on our mind, and that trouble will give us a sense of stress, which can follow us throughout our day, and we find ourselves being stressed. And as we know, when the body is stressed, it leads to it begins to act in ways that are full of dis-ease, right? Heart conditions, hypertension, um, enlarged heart, a whole um, collection of maladies, as we now know through modern science, are tied to one's level of stress and one's level of stress management. So we like to speak about this context in the context of a ritual. Ritual can be defined as doing the same thing at around the same time, right? Um, it's best seen through example. Let me give you my brief morning ritual. In the mornings, I wake up at 3:30, hella early. I read a couple of spiritual or business books. I do our show here at 4:45 a.m. At 5, I'll walk out to the beach. At 5, I work on my current novel um, until sunrise. At sunrise, which is around 6, I walk out to the beach. I live here along the coast in Venice Beach, California. So I walk out, I bring my drum, meditate, pray, do yoga. It's really, really powerful. Early in the morning when dawn is just about to break, I come back to the house, work on my current book for a while longer. Then I go back to the beach to run up the coast all the way past Santa Monica's Pier, all the way back here to Venice to run to my gym, Gold's Gym, to get my workout in, to get my buff on. So guys, by 10:30, I'm feeling amazing. My body is being flooded with endorphins. And that endorphin release gives me a sense of euphoria that I can then leverage to move myself towards my goals and objectives. We're not saying do what I do, although you certainly are welcome to join me at getting up at 3:30. I like some company. But we're not saying that. We're saying do what you do, and we help individuals do just that, do what they do. All right. So, as a part of my reading in the morning, I'm reading two great books now. One is called The 1 Minute Millionaire by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen, which is a really interesting book. I just began that book 2 days ago. I'm also finishing up a book called The Nag Hammadi Reader, which is a compendium of sacred scriptures from the Gnostic tradition, really powerful. So from those two books, I extract some wisdom. which I call the morning chant. And today's morning chant is, as a meditating natural mystic, I do good because doing good is praising God. Right? As a meditating natural mystic, I do good because doing good is praising God. Right? Um, and so there's always at times a spiritual underlay to much of this work, because that's a thing that I personally have an investment in. So again, not everyone has that perspective, obviously, but that works pretty well for me. So we're about doing what works for you, and that works for me. So that's how we roll here. All right. So, um, and so I think about that particular morning chant throughout my day. I place it on my phone, for example, as I'm walking through my day, going from meeting to meeting. I'll pop it out and look at it. I also create the morning and afternoon shows based upon that reading. So today we're talking about doing good. All right. So let's dive into the topic. Again, go to productivethroughjoy.com, see about us, have me come out and speak to your group, school, organization. If you're interested also in writing a memoir or enhancing your productivity through one of our workshops, which are at times involve writing, self-writing, really powerful technique that we have. Go to, again, Productive Through Joy, and see about us. All right, let's dive in. And so point one is that doing good should be an objective, right? I know that there's even a pejorative called a do-gooder. Somehow being a do-gooder is a thing that's worthy of teasing and reprobation. I mean, really, it's extraordinary that doing good is somehow demonized. But we're here to say that doing good is great and needs to be an objective. Point two is that once you do good, you're going to receive, at times, you're going to receive haters. If people can attack people for being do-gooders, my goodness, no pun intended, that's crazy, actually. But you're also going to receive praise. And the thing about doing good is that you want to do good because it's the right thing to do, right? And not simply to get the praise. Although there's some praise is going to come, because there are going to be individuals who are going to really appreciate you doing good if it impacts them, especially. So that's going to come. But the key is to do good also when no one is looking. Like, don't do good just to get the praise or the emotional hand claps. Do good because doing good is right. And in my experience, I find that when you do good because it's right, as opposed to doing good for some type of compensation emotionally or psychologically, although that is going to happen because it feels good to do good, the outcome is just better, which goes right into point three. As you do good, guys, as you invest in doing good in your personal and in your professional life, the people around you are going to be impacted. I find that doing good is contagious because it actually feels good to do good, and it heightens your level of joy to be in service to others, service to a larger cause. Listen, if you can find a way to feel good about yourself, if you can find a way, although that externality, that results from doing good shouldn't be the goal, but it is one thing that does happen. You just feel good when you do good, right? You are going to be in a position to become more productive, because when you are feeling good about yourself, typically you are wanting and willing to work harder, be more motivated, and go do what needs to be done. And that's the critical piece here. Doing good leads to heightened productivity. Boom goes the dynamite. That's it for today's show. This show airs each weekday morning at 4:45 a.m. on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel. Right now, please become a subscriber. Hit that subscriber button. And also 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Have me come out and speak to your group, school, or organizations. We help individuals and organizations become more productive. And we use joy itself as a technology, which is a really interesting way to think about joy, but it completely can change your life to know how to access more joy in your life. All right, so thanks for being here. We'll see you this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Also, because I'm on this book tour, look for me everywhere. Again, I'll be at the great independent bookstore called The Last Bookstore in downtown Los Angeles, October the 4th at 7:30. And then I'll be at Pasadena City College at October the 9th at 8 p.m. All right. So thanks for being here. We'll see you guys soon at 4:45 p.m. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.